Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to see frequently asked interview question which is final keyword in Java. So what is final keyword in Java and why we are using final keyword in Java? We are using final keyword to create the entities that cannot be changed or overridden, and it can be applied to variables, methods and classes. Its meaning changes slightly depending on where it used. For example, we can use final keyword with variable, then methods and classes. And we will see one by one. First, we will see final variable. So, what is final variable? So, final variable is the variable which is declared as a final, and its value cannot be changed after initialization. It becomes a constant. For example, final int max. So here we are using constant values. So because of that, we'll use capital letters to write variable name max value, and here we are storing 100. After initialization, if we want to change this max value to 200, then what will happen? If we try to change the value or reinitialize the max value variable, it will give error, cannot assign a value to final variable. So remember, whenever you are using constant or final keyword to represent any constant value, it cannot be changed after initialization, and we are not able to reinitialize that variable. Second one is final method. So what is final method? Final method cannot be overridden by any subclasses of that particular class, and it is useful when you want to prevent modification of the method behavior. For example, if we are using class parent, in that class we have some methods or one final method void display, and here we are print some statement is this is final method. So and and we also have we have created one child class. So class child, and it extends parent, so that and here if child class use same method like void display, and also rewrite print child class, then it will give error. What error it will give? So it will give error cannot overridden, cannot be overridden, or we cannot override the final method. This is the use of final method. If we want any method that cannot be overridden by subclasses, so that we can use final keyword with that particular method. Now let's see final class. So what is final class? So final class. So final class is the class which cannot be inherited, and it used to prevent the subclassing. What it means, we'll see with the help of one example. For example, if we have one final class called utility, and in that class void show method is present and simply print final class cannot be extended. And if we have created another class, if we create class extend utility extends, so if we try to extend utility class, it will give us error. This is the wrong because as we have declared utility class as final class, it is preventing subclassing. We cannot extend utility class in another class. So remember some key points. If you are using final keyword with variable, that means it is used to store constant value. If final keyword is with method, so we cannot override then final class. So if we are using final class, so no inheritance. We cannot inherit that final class into another class. So let's see one coding example. Suppose here I'm creating example class. And so here we need one final class. So final class, and I'm giving name as a constant class. And inside that, using one variable, which is final variable called pi, and storing value as 3.40. So this is the constant value of the pi because I'm using final keyword with variable. Now creating one class shape, and inside that using one final method which is used to display system.out.println, and here I'm printing this is a shape. This is our final method and this method cannot be override. And here I'm creating one another class called circle and it extends shape. Remember, here I'm not extending final class which is constant class. Here I'm extending shape. This is the class which is not final. If I try to extend constant class, I'm not able to do that because I have declared using final keyword. So it will give error if I try to inherit that class or extend that class. So continue to our coding. Here I'm using double radius and one more method, calculate the area. So I'm extending. So here I'm using pi value from constant class, which is final, which is declared by using final keyword into radius into radius and area of circle plus area. This is the code. Calculate area of circle. So inside main method, we need to create object of circle class Circle S1 goes to new circle. And here I am passing 5 as a radius value. And S1 dot display. It will call the final method from the shape class. And S1 dot calculate area, and it will use pi value which is final and declare inside the constant class, and then using that value it will give area of that circle. So let's try to run. So as you can see here, first output is this is shape. Here using circle object we are calling display method, and display method is final method inside shape class, and it will display the statement like this is a shape. And then after that, using same object, we are calling the calculate area method, which is inside the circle class, but extending but it is extending shape. Also, it is calling the pi value from the constant class, which is inside this final class, and pi value is also final. So it is constant for throughout the program. And after calculating, it is providing the answer area of circle. This is how final keyword we can use with a variable, method, and class. Using final keyword, we can achieve constant value, and for variable, for final method, we cannot overriding that method. And if we want no inheritance, so that we can use final class. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.